All right, so today I want to dive into something that's really been shaking up the geopolitical landscape lately. I mean, we're talking about how the recent shutdown of U.S. aid might be ceding ground to China, and honestly, it's a bit of a weird twist in the storyline, right? Think of it like a chess game where one player puts down their pieces and just walks away. Like, imagine if someone just left their kings and queens unattended at a game night.
That's wild. Wait, so are you saying the U.S. is basically like leaving its position and China's just swooping in?
Exactly. The U.S. aid shutdown has led to a real mess in humanitarian efforts. I mean, think about it. Offices are locked, shipments are stalled, and development programs are suddenly screaming about famine, disease, and death. It's akin to someone shutting off the water supply in a drought-stricken area. The results can be catastrophic.
That's intense. So is it really true that this pause in aid is impacting people that much?
Yes, the implications are enormous. Countries relying on U.S. aid are at risk of significant humanitarian crises. Think of it like a lifeline suddenly being cut. You know, when you're playing a video game and you're low on health but you think you've got a power-up coming only to realize it's gone? That's what these countries are feeling.
Wow, and here comes China, right? Like, what are they doing while the U.S. aid is paused?
Right. China is quite the opportunist in this scenario. Take a look at Panama, for example. Panama's president recently hinted at withdrawing from the Belt and Road Initiative, doing so seemingly without any U.S. influence. It's like they saw a gap in the wall and are now stepping through, ready to strengthen ties and gain influence where the U.S. is faltering.
So what's in it for China? I mean, do they want control over the Panama Canal?
Oh, absolutely. The Panama Canal is a crucial maritime artery. Controlling it is like holding the key to a treasure chest filled with global trade. The U.S. is worried about Chinese control over two ports there, which is linked to a Hong Kong conglomerate. This whole relationship dates back to when the U.S. and Panama jointly administered the canal. It's a decent concern, since having that control could definitely swing trade dynamics in China's favor.
I see. So it's like they don't just want a seat at the table, they want to control the whole dinner, right?
That's the perfect analogy. And then there's this whole other layer getting involved. TikTok! It's fascinating because while we've got these serious geopolitical discussions happening with aid and ports, we've got American users migrating to a platform called Red Note as fears about a potential TikTok ban grow.
Red Note? What's that? And how does it relate?
Good question. So, it's another platform, but the mass migration from TikTok underlines bigger fears around technological governance and digital sovereignty. I mean, we're looking at a case where TikTok, which is fundamentally social media, has become a hot-button issue in U.S.-China relations.
That's wild. So people leaving TikTok, it's kind of like if a bunch of kids suddenly decided to leave a playground because the older kids were playing too rough.
Precisely. And it really highlights how global competition is evolving. We're not just seeing a shift in trade and political influence. Now, our social media landscape is part of the battlefield. It's like a digital frontier that reflects the greater tensions simmering beneath the surface.
Wow, it's all connected. So much is going on. It's like we're living in a giant chess match, with all these players making strategic moves. What's next then?